Welcome to the Cities Skylines 2 Beginner's Guide. For today, I want to show you how to build a city in Cities Skylines 2. Let's get started. Here is your first live look at the Cities Skylines 2 main menu. What you will notice that mods are not currently an option. Paradox Interactive and Colossal Order did release a statement that's saying mods will not be a part of the initial release. So the very first step is click on a new game. And what you're going to see here is Cities Skylines 2 gives you 10 different map options, which vary based on location and temperature of each of these locations. So if we zoom in on one of these options you're going to see here, the theme is North American. The climate is -4 degrees to 23 degrees. So that means we will get snow, a southern hemisphere. 31% of the map is buildable land, so that means we can build on top of it. Then the outside connections, basically we will have a highway, we'll have trains, we'll have boats, and we'll have airplanes that will all have outside connections and electricity connections. We'll get into that as the video goes on. Then obviously your natural resources of farms, forest, coal, and oil. So what we're going to do is we want to click on the Twin Mountain map. That is the map that we want to go with. So what we'll do is we'll select the map. Once we select the map, you'll have a few different options. Now, if you don't know what to call your city or give the city name, you can hit the random button, or you can give it its own name. I'm going to go with Shortsville. I drove through a Shortsville recently and we're going to call it Shortsville. Anyways, what we can do next is on the left-hand side, we can change it from European to North American. We have both of those options right now. Then also we have the left-hand traffic, natural disasters, unlock all, unlimited money. You can click those if you want, or you can continue and just play the game as is. Also at the bottom, there are tutorials. I have disabled tutorials for the time being. I find them a little bit annoying, to put it nicely. Anyways, so let's get started. Click that start game button and here we are. We are in the new Cities Skylines map and everything looks really good. We have mountaintops with snow, we have clouds, and you can see other fog going on in our city. Obviously, weather is a part of Cities Skylines 2, part of the base game. When you do start your Cities Skylines game, you're going to notice that there are a lot more road options. Now let's get into the progression system, which is new for Cities Skylines 2. So what will happen is as you hit more and more milestones, you're going to get available developmental points, so dev points. And as you can see in front of you, we have roundabouts, which we can unlock. So that's kind of like a roundabout builder mod that's a part of the base game. We have an advanced road and services. Then you can see we have a couple other categories for electricity and water. So as your city gets bigger and bigger, you're going to get more and more developmental points to unlock things in the game and you'll be able to build. So right now we don't have any dev points, but let's go over to the milestones and see how we can get those. So right now we are trying to get from a tiny village to a grand village. And what you're going to notice is to hit these milestones is you're going to need to get experience points. So it's not based on population, it's based on experience. So what I mean by that is every single building, every single road you add, you gain experience and you get closer to those milestones. And as you can see here for the tiny village, we will unlock a healthcare and death care, garbage management. So it's just like Cities Skylines 1, where when you hit that milestone, you unlock more and more things. But as time goes on, you can keep growing your city and keep maintaining and gaining experience. So experience is a little bit more difficult. So let me go over here. This is an example. All right, so here is a tiny road that we're just gonna build for fun. We're eventually just gonna delete it. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But what I'm gonna show you here is we're gonna build this road out to the right for 280, whatever. It doesn't, the amount of money does not really matter at this moment. But what you're gonna see here is we're gonna build the road. So now that the road has been built, at the bottom left, you're gonna see +2 to XP road built. And if we go over to our milestone, 2 out of 750 XP has been created. We have a long way to go. But like Cities Skylines 1, you could just chill and kind of hang out and you'll hit that population milestone. In Cities Skylines 2, you have to actually keep building. Now in City Skylines 2, they do have a road tool. And as you can see here, you have the 180 degrees and you can move it to the right or the left and the angle will change. The 1.1 is the increase in incline. You can also see that the road costs 968 units. Now, I would love to see the unit measurement like in City Skylines 1, but they'll eventually get to there. So the very first thing we need to do is we need to create a basic City Skylines road layout. So what we're gonna do is we are currently using a medium-sized road. And what I wanna do is I wanna create a 90-degree road to the right. And you're gonna see here, the road tools are a little bit more finicky. We're at 90 degrees. But you're gonna see here is that it's very, how do you put this nicely? That it's very temperamental. So be careful when you're building roads because it can honestly, the slightest mouse movement can change that angle and screw up your entire road. So just be careful, take your time. I'm not saying it's a bad tool. I'm just saying, please take your time when creating roads. So we just created a City Skylines entrance. I mean, that honestly was not an entrance, but for the most part, you know, you get how it goes in City Skylines. We wanted to connect both highway entrances in and out of the city. So what we're going to do next is just like in City Skylines 1, we want to create an area for residential and we want to create an area for commercial districts and obviously industrial. So down here, we are going to build, and you can see the 90-degree angles, but we're going to build a grid for our industrial area. Now, the reason why we have the industrial area, we will shortly get to that reasoning because, well, it's much different than City Skylines 1. So instead of you seeing me build all these grids, what I'm going to do is for a couple seconds is we are going to fastly build these grids as quickly as possible. So let's speed it up. Okay, so everybody has seen how a grid was built. The very first thing I want to add to our City Skylines city is electricity. So at the bottom of the screen, we are going to click on the electricity and you're going to see here we have a small coal power plant and a wind turbine and a couple other options. So what you're going to see here for the coal power plant is there is the wind direction of where the pollution in City Skylines 2 is going to go. Now, if you watch any of my early access videos, you're going to see that pollution and the wind will do a number on your city. So it can definitely wreck your entire city. So what I want to do is I'm going to place the coal power plant right over here. And so this way we know that the wind is going northwest or northeast, I should say, and that it hopefully won't get in the way of our residential area. Now, next, you're gonna see here on the screen, we have this bronzish orange look to it. So look at where the arrow is. You can see here that the power plant is connected to our streets. So all the electricity in our City Skylines 2 game is going through our roads, which is really good news because we don't have to put ugly power lines throughout the entire city. Next, I want to create a sewage outlet. These sewage outlets in City Skylines 2 react the same way as City Skylines 1. So the sewage outlet, we want to actually make sure that you want to put the pollution going downriver. And as you can see here, the pollution, well, it's going downriver and potentially into our ocean. So we're just going to plop that down and all of our polluted water is going to go into that ocean area, which in real life, that would be horrible. But next, what we're gonna do is we have a couple different pipe options. We have a blue pipe, which is for fresh water. Then we have a brown or orange pipe, which is for the sewage network. So what we need to do is, all we have to do is click the sewage pipe and connect it up to our water system. Again, it doesn't need fresh water since it's only a sewage outlet. So you can see here, we have sewage service throughout our entire City Skylines city. So good job, we're getting rid of waste. That's a huge positive. Now, the next thing we have to do is we need fresh water. I do usually like water towers, but for this game and for this guide, we are going to use a pumping station. what the pumping station is, it will pump fresh water into our city skyline. Well, basically give fresh water to our town. So you can see here that it is cost 25,000 and then it is an upkeep of 10,000. You can see here the 100 XP. Ooh, that's really nice. 100 XP that we'll get just from plopping it down. So remember, as I mentioned to you earlier, that we need to make sure that the pollution is, all the water and the pollution will stay away from our fresh water pump. Now, next, you're going to notice here that we are connecting a blue pipe. Remember, the blue piping is for fresh water and we're connecting it to our grid. Now, the weird part is for the water intake, you're going to get this little indication of a road. For some reason, I don't know why, but the pumping station needs road access. That is what the little indicator is, just kind of indicating and letting us know, hey, you need to connect a road to it. So I'm just going to connect this road really quickly, and you're going to see here that the road is not the prettiest thing in the world, and we do not have a Cities Skylines Move It mod. So for the time being, again, this is just a guide. We're not trying to make it look pretty. We're just showing you how to get water access. But anyways, what you're also going to notice for some of the buildings is you're actually able to upgrade some of your services. So the water pipe, you could see here that we can upgrade it. And if we go over back here to our coal power plant, well, there's nothing. So not every single service can upgrade, but you can see here, here's our sewage. We have a chemical purification, then an extra settling tank. So look, you can add that right on to our waste. So it is cool that you're able to upgrade all the service buildings and a few others. We'll get into that later on in the video. So the next thing I do want to get into is the air pollution. Now, our industrial area will pollute like crazy, and the air pollution is going to go nuts. So keep an eye on the wind itself, because if you checked out any of my early access Cities Skylines videos, the air pollution can go very, very, very far because the wind pushes it over. So the next part, what we're going to do is we are almost hitting our tiny village milestone. So what we're going to do is we are going to build our residential area. And as we're building our residential area, we get experience points just by building roads. So I guess if there is a small tip before we hit that milestone, we just hit the milestone. So we hit a tiny village milestone. So we got $600 in rewards, +1 to dev points, and then +3. Now what you're going to see here is what we upgraded was 750 XP points. So we bypassed that and we unlocked a few different things, which is really, really cool. We unlocked the loans, so we can take out a loan. Finally, we can buy some maps and we can buy tiles. We have our city budget, our city statistics to see, if people are dying, job growth and whatnot. Then you can see here, we have medium housing and we have more options for roads. And then we obviously have our healthcare and our garbage management. So this is just like the first step in Cities Skylines 1. So we definitely unlocked a bunch of things. Now what you're gonna notice here is the dev points. We have 1 dev point. At this point in time, we really can't unlock much, but right now we really don't need much. Like that crematorium that you see on the screen from me, we really don't need a crematorium yet because, well, our population is 0. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, if you do go back over to the road tool itself, you're going to see here that, okay, maybe we unlock roundabouts or the advanced road services, but for the time being, we have a population of 0. So that's just something to keep in mind. Save those dev points. We want to get to a small village. That is our next goal. And you can see here everything that's unlocked in the small village. So we have a long ways to go. We have to go to 2,500 XP points. So in order, I am going to speed this up a little bit, but in order to gain those dev points, hey, we need to create residential, and that's what we're going to start to do. Again, I don't want you guys to see all of our grid making, so I'm going to speed this up tremendously. So now that our residential grid is in place, When we hit that tiny village milestone, we unlocked 3 tiles. So I do want to build 3 tiles for $30,947. And you're going to see here the resources that come with those tiles. But the reason why is we would like to expand our residential area in that part of town and keep it away from our future industrial air pollution. So now that we have all of our grid in place, and we're going to delete that access road, what we're going to do is we are going to start to finally build residential buildings in City Skylines. So right here, the light blue is the low density residential, and just like City Skylines 1, we're going to have a fill tool, we're going to have a marquee tool, and we'll have a paint tool. What I'll do is I will use the marquee tool just to fill in all of that low density residential. Low density residential, when you do see the buildings actually populate and get created, they think of like your suburban home. That's just, just something to keep in mind. They're low density, so not many people living there, but they're going to look like your suburban home. Now, when you are building cities or building anything in City Skylines, you have that cool crane effect. But I will say the buildings do take a little bit more time to render than City Skylines 1. Obviously, we're going at 1 speed. We're going normal simulation speed. And you can see here, we have a demand for medium density residential. We have a demand for commercial, which is the light blue, and industrial, which is yellow. So everything from City Skylines 1, still the same color wise. So again, just like City Skylines 1, you want to make sure that you're putting commercial buildings, so that is the light blue, on a very heavy populated road. So this is definitely a medium-sized road. So just again, the noise pollution will not affect any of the residents using the commercial buildings. So that's why, again, commercial zoning goes on your bigger roads. And like I mentioned 2 seconds ago, Sims hate being on major roads with lots of traffic. So that's just something to keep in mind also. Now, what we're going to do next is you can see here at the bottom of the demand bar is we have our industrial. So we're going to do the same thing again. Now, when you're building industrial, the wind and the arrows that I know I've brought this up numerous times, but the air pollution from industrial can catastrophically destroy your city. And it's so important that you have to keep that in mind. That's why I keep repeating myself. It's not that I'm a bad YouTuber. I'm just telling you the importance of it. So what's really cool is we also have a demand for medium residential zoning. So what we have unlocked so far are what are called row houses. So I'm going to keep all the row houses together because think of almost like New York City, where you have a bunch of row houses or row buildings in a row, and they look good together. They really don't look good separated. So we're going to keep our low density away from our medium density just for the time being. Eventually we'll mix those together, but you'll see the difference between both of those residential buildings. Like I mentioned to you before, look how slow our buildings are growing. So when we hit that tiny village, we did unlock healthcare. So just like in City Skylines 1, we need to build a medical clinic. And you can see here the medical clinic is $60,000, which I think in just City Skylines 1 terms, a lot of the buildings prices have increased, but you also have more money to start out with. Now there's the medical clinic. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. And what's really cool about, like I mentioned to you about these buildings before, is that you can upgrade them. So look at that. We can add additional ambulances. We can add an additional care center to our medical clinic just to gain more experience points. And then, instead of our medical clinic just handling up to 100 some odd patients, or what's the actual amount? It can handle up to 100 patients, that we can increase that without adding another medical clinic. So that's really cool, is how we're able to keep using buildings and to have them actually grow with our city instead of just plopping them down individually. So that's pretty cool. So that is our medical clinic. And you can see here our buildings are growing, and you can see, look, like, ooh, this is on a hill. So ooh, that's pretty ugly. But look, there's your low density housing. It looks fine for what it is. And as you can see here, I lost some FPS while I was recording. Holy macaroni and cheese. So what's next? All right, we're almost halfway through our experience to get to that small village. We need to keep growing and expanding our city. So the next service we actually have is the waste. And what we'll do is we're going to get into building the landfill. So what we're doing over here is, all right, we want to keep the landfill part of our industrial area because guess what? It also gives off pollution. So you can see here that there is a brown ring. So that is the part where you're able to build the landfill around. So you can actually add the landfill anywhere within that brown ring. So what we're going to see here is that you actually have to district. So this is kind of like what their districting tool looks like. You can actually create how big you want the landfill to be. So for example, I wanted this landfill to be decently sized, and you can see the amount of garbage storage that it can actually use. And as you get bigger, as it gets bigger and bigger, and you're going to have to just corner that off, there you go. And that is our landfill. You can actually stretch it, make it bigger if you want. But overall, I definitely like the idea of being able to expand the landfill without, it's just, instead of just plopping them down, you can just stretch it. Like, look at right here. I just stretched it a little bit. Now I'm just being very tedious. I'm just stretching it to the road to make it look a little bit better than it did before. But you got the basic gist of the landfill, which again, I think it is very, very cool that you're able to do that. The landfill building itself looks fantastic. And again, here are some of the upgrades. We can garbage truck depot. We can add more trucks, 10 more trucks. We can collect hazardous waste at a higher speed. And then we'll have a recycling unit. So each of these upgrades are very, I would say for the time being, are very affordable, but are they needed right now? Probably not so much, but it's just cool that you're able to upgrade the buildings and whatnot. So pretty cool stuff. I'm a big fan of that. So far, so good with our Cities Skylines city. I chuckled a little bit because we're only at a population of 65 and we're losing $2,000 an hour. And right now we don't have taxes. We get that during the small village. So if you are losing money, do not stress out. It is okay. Our budget, we have $754,000 left. We are not going broke anytime soon. So what we're going to do next is we have death care we need to take care of because, well, unfortunately, citizens do die, just like Cities Skylines 1. What we're going to do is, by the way, these cemeteries. So maybe unlocking crematorium with a 1 developmental point might not be the worst idea ever because you're going to see here that we're going to plop down our cemetery, these are massive in Cities Skylines 2, absolutely massive. And again, yeah, they look great. I'm going to be honest, they look great. And then we have the temple you can upgrade. So again, more upgradable buildings. We have the calabrium. I'm not sure what that is. It is crematorium remains of the deceased. So it's walls for deceased. I don't really know. Then we have our last building, which is the mausoleum. So just like a religious temple. So what we're going to do is we're just going to build around this with roads and we'll upgrade those buildings later on. Again, remember, like they're easy experience points just by upgrading the buildings. But remember, it will overall cost you more money to actually run like the cemetery or whatever service building you do upgrade. So that's just something to keep in mind. So as we go back to our small village, we're slowly getting there. We have less than 1,000 experience points until we hit that milestone. So now this is part of the game that gets kind of interesting in Cities Skylines, because we have built and added every single service in the game. And like we added everything. And you're going to be like, well, what do you do? And what you can do to gain experience while we're waiting for our city to expand is we're just going to add roads. And it's just, you're going to be like, well, why? Like, isn't that a waste? Well, first and foremost, obviously the population is going to go up, but all of these roads cost money and gain experience points. So that's just something to keep in mind. So I'm going to fast forward this real quick. Now that the residential grid has been expanded, what we need to do next is we're going to our signature building. We have a rock musician mansion. So a rock star lives in this mansion when not on tour. So these signature buildings are special, unique buildings that grant experience awards and provide various benefits to their surroundings. So essentially, AKA, you're going to want to build these buildings and have them basically when they're unlocked, build them. I think that's a fair assessment. So for this rock and roll mansion, we're going to put this in the dead center of our low density residential area. Obviously, residential will build around this mansion, but as you can see here, we're going to click on it. It is +2 to well-being within 500 meters of the mansion. So +2. So basically, our residents will be happier by +2 just by having that building built in our residential area. So what we need to do next is we are very, very, very close to hitting that milestone of a small village. We're about 70, let's say we'll call it 70. I know it's not exactly 70 experience points away, but like I mentioned before, if you need to gain experience, build a road. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And that's exactly how we are actually going to hit the small village milestone. I know that's pathetic, but it is what it is. And this is the progression system that Cities Skylines 2 has created for the game. You can see here we gain $700,000. We now can tax, we can have medium density housing, and then we have education to our city, which is really nice. Education obviously is a really, really good thing for our Cities Skylines city. So you can see here, we have 3 dev points that we can use. Now, again, I recommend we try to save them, but for the time being, I think we do need to unlock advanced road services. And then now you can see here, we just unlocked highways, large roads, and parking areas within our city. So the advanced road services, if you watch any of the dev diaries by Cities Skylines, you're going to see that they're very, very, very important. And we'll get into that exactly why in a couple minutes. Now you can see here, we can unlock a crematorium, hospital, and incineration plant, recycling plant, or we can have a college, but we have 375 people of a population wise. So to be honest with you, we don't need it right now. So what I'll do is just like in Cities Skylines 1, I will raise the taxes to 12%. I do not have the maximum or minimum amount of taxes that people will not complain about taxes. So we're just going to go with 12% for the time being. Everything is actually going really, really, really well. You can see here that we're only using 19% of our current electricity, but the problem is we do not have the services tab. You can see here we have the budget tab, which all of our taxes, so very basic. Then we have our loans tab. If we did need to take out a loan, which in Cities Skylines 2, we're at $1.3 million already. Then we have taxes, but we unlocked the service tab in the next milestone. So anyways, we'll have to wait to do that. So let's keep building. So during our small village milestone, we unlocked education. Now we have no education whatsoever. And you can see here that, well, a lot of our citizens are poorly educated and whatnot. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to build an elementary school and a high school right across the street from the cemetery. Yeah, I don't know. In real life, I'm not sure how well that would roll, but it is what it is. Actually, it's going to sound sad, but the cemetery does kind of look like a park. Just throwing that out there. So I did build an elementary school and we are building the high school, and you're going to see here the high school. Wow, that is 500 experience points. That's actually a lot of experience points. Holy cow. Okay, so now that we have our education in our in our map right now. We have it taken care of. What we could do is, you can see here, we can build a football field. We can expand the wings of the city, of the high school itself. And you can see here, like, for example, the sports field costs $56,000, and the new wings to the building are $85,000, and only add 100 experience points to our milestone. But overall, honestly, I don't know if we need them just yet, but I think we might. I don't know. Let's just see what this elementary school has. So the elementary school, same idea, a children's clinic to help children recover. So +5 to health for students. Ooh, that's really nice. That is a big building. We won't add that. Then you can add wings to the building. Okay, that makes sense to make sure more kids can go to school. And then the playground. So like, okay, you get +5 for students. Let's just add the playground. Let's just see what happens when you upgrade a building. All right, let's click out of this now. There you go. Click out of it. There you go. Okay, that looks good. That looks cool. I like the playground. I think that looks neat. I'm a fan. That's a cool upgrade. Now let's go back to the high school. That track and field looked very, very, very appealing to me. All right, let's plop that down. Now, again, we don't have any mods, so yeah, we can't move things around, but I think that looks okay. You can see we're slightly downhill, but overall, I think the track and field looks amazing, and that all fit perfectly, just like I planned in Cities Skylines 2. Honestly, that was more or less a joke. And as you can see on the screen in front of you, it is starting to rain, and you can see that the screen is slightly darker due to a cloudy day. So weather is a part of it, and clouds are definitely a part of it. We barely have any students right now, so these schools are pretty much useless. Not really useless, but as time goes on, they will definitely fill in. What you do want to notice, though, is that these schools do give off noise pollution. So what we're going to do next is we did unlock the North American apartment buildings. Ooh, I really like that. So these are going to be slightly bigger apartments. Then what else did we unlock? We unlocked the roads and services tab. Okay. So remember this road maintenance depot building. You can see here we unlocked a bunch of other things, but let's go back. Let's first create the building itself. So let's go 1, 2, 3, boom, click it right there. There you go. So remember during the Dev Diaries videos that these are very important to stop traffic accidents and make sure citizens are, the road system is staying pretty safe. So right now you can see here, we only have 10 vehicles in use, and we can upgrade it by 5 vehicles by adding that the expansion building. We're not going to do that just yet. But then what you're also going to see here is that we can create a crosswalk, a wide sidewalk, then we can create a road with grass and a road with trees. So this is just for an example. I'm going to just show off what this looks like. So there you go. We built trees on both sides of our road, and that looks cool. Honestly, it does make it look a little bit better than it did before. So I'm a fan of that. It looks good. Honestly, it looks really good. So I'm a fan. Now, next, what we're going to do is add the grass side. Okay. So the grass on the medium-sized road, it looks good. It definitely adds something to it versus the boring concrete. So it definitely adds a little bit of flavor to it. Is it amazing? No. But anyways, here's our first look at commercial buildings, by the way. They look good. I like how all of them have parking lots too. So overall, those buildings, commercial buildings, do look good. I'm a fan, and I definitely love the crane and the construction part of it. I think that looks really, really, really cool. I mean, kind of reminds me of SimCity a little bit. I don't know, just throwing that out there. But overall, our city is off to a really good start. We're almost done with the small village, and our demand for everything, well, it's being taken care of as time goes on. So going back to our milestone, the large milestone, we are only 600 XP away. Wow, that's really nice. That one went much quicker than the previous one. So I guess when you have stuff to actually build, it is easier to just, level up really, really, really quickly. So what we're going to do next is we are going to fill in some of those apartments. So those low density apartments, I want to put them right next to the school system. So then this way, if you do have kids going to school, it's a very short walk to and from school. Now, later on, I will regret that decision, but we'll show you why as time goes on. So those apartment buildings will fill in, which they're going to be much taller buildings than the row houses and the low density residential. So keep that in mind. Now, I will let you know, we are getting very, very close to hitting our next milestone. Ooh, what is that? Okay, so let's zoom in on that. Waiting for Hearst. Okay, so if that indication ever pops up, that is somebody died. And there's oh wow, there's the hearse right now. So Jad, I never saw that indication before, so I wanted to check it out. Sorry, that's just me playing, and I know this is a guide, but it is what it is. So anyways, so what we'll do is while we're waiting to level up, and we're going to get there shortly, we're going to keep expanding our low density residential because we have that slight demand for it. So we want to make sure that we're keeping up with it. So this way we don't need to keep adding residential every couple seconds to our game. So overall, everything is going very, very well. Everything's filling in nicely. So while we're waiting to level up, what I wanted to do was go into those dev points, and I wanted to add parking lots. And the reason behind that is, well, I love parking lots. Everybody in Cities Skylines loves parking lots, but also parking lots are a good way to start to make money in your Cities Skylines game. And what you're going to also notice is where there is a larger population, so those medium row houses and the apartment complex buildings and like buildings honestly near our commercial, you're going to notice that people are going to be very willing to park their vehicles. So on the screen below, you're going to see we have a small parking lot, medium, large, very large parking lot, and a few other options. But what I want to do is, for the time being, obviously we do not have a huge city, but what I want to do is I want to add a couple parking lots near our cemetery and near some of our medium residential areas. So then this way people can park their cars. Oh, and near the school. So we're trying to appeal to people we're just trying to appeal to the population itself. So we're going to add 2 of those, I think. I think those will look pretty nice. There you go. 1, 2, center it, 1, 2. There we go. So those are our parking lots. Again, I think they look fantastic. Now, what you're going to notice here is we finally unlocked the landscaping tool. So here are our paths. Oh, and we upgrade to a large village. But you can see here we gained $800,000, 3 dev points, and we unlocked 3 tiles. So we will get into that shortly. I did slow down the game to a much slower pace so that in this way, everything doesn't fill in. We're just trying to get to that grand village. That's what we're trying to do for today, is get to that milestone. So what we unlocked is livestock farming, stone mining, fire and rescue, and police services. So we actually have a lot to build, which is actually really exciting. Now we do have 3 dev points. I'm going to hold them tight for the time being. Again, don't waste them. Just don't build things just to build things. That's like, we could build highways. We're getting there, but we have 863 people. So now let's get back to our parking lot. So if you click on the parking lots, you're going to see that there is a parking lot fee. Jack that up to about $16, and let's see if people start to park there. Again, this is a commercial zoning and people will, park there. So the next thing that, before I got rudely, before we hit that milestone, I do want to let you know that the landscaping tool is very limited and we do not have very many props. So you can see here, we have the brush tool if we wanted to add trees. So that's from Cities Skylines 1, and you can plop them individually. But then the problem is here it is. Here are paths. Those are what paths look like in Cities Skylines 2, which is fine. I think the paths look really good. My only complaint is that we have 0 props in Cities Skylines 2. So this is like the extent of detailing in Cities Skylines 2. I know that sounds sad, but like that's all that we can do. And it's pretty pathetic when, I can only add trees as like a, this is look at, watch, this is the extent of me detailing. Like that's all I can do to make my city look pretty. A little frustrating. Now, what you're going to notice is that you can't put the trees as close as you could in Cities Skylines 1. And that blue radius is basically the trees will grow as time goes on. So they need some space to grow. And as you can see here, that tree, oh, it's a spruce. So I guess it's a different tree, but those other trees will grow as our game goes on. So we planted some pine trees, and those pine trees will get bigger as time goes on. So again, there's no props or anything like that. So I'm going to fast forward this because I'm going to add trees onto the other side. Okay, so I just fast forwarded. You guys did not need to see that. So for the low density apartments, like I mentioned to you before, they're a little bit taller buildings. They hold 45 residents. So right now, 44 out of 45 residents. And I liked how we put them close to the school. Now, as time goes on, I will learn that I made a major mistake. But anyways, let's keep going with this game. So as you can see here, let's check on our air pollution. You can see here that our industrial area is starting to create pollution, and the wind is going to the northwest, and it's going that way, northwest. Actually, no, that'd be northeast. Sorry, if you're looking, I don't know a map. But anyways, this is going northeast. So that's something that we kept in mind. And so far, so good, because everything is being pushed away from our residential area. So now let's start to add our services that we gained with the large village. Essentially, just like Cities Skylines 1, we need to add a fire and police department. So what we'll do is we will add the police department. And as you can see here, let's take a look at this building. I like the look of the firehouses. You can also upgrade it. Okay, that would be nice for an extra 10,000. Actually, that's a cheap upgrade. You get 4 more engines. That's a pretty cheap upgrade, if I were to be completely honest with you. That is not bad. But let's add the police station. Obviously, all the green in front of you means that our cop cars will be patrolling the area, just like in Cities Skylines 1. So nothing really changed from that. The fire department is literally the same thing. So I just wanted to show you that everything is being patrolled. We can upgrade the garage extension to add more cars to our, police cars, I should say. Now, next, I wanted to get into, we did unlock with a large village, the electricity budget. Now, we were only at 19% before, so we lowered that down to 75%. And as you can see here, we're only using 44%. So our goal is, we're not making money yet. So our goal is to try and, we're only using 7.5 megawatts out of 16 so far, and we lowered the budget tremendously. So yeah, definitely lower your electricity budget by like 10,000. Ooh, there you go. Yeah, I think it started out at 33 and now we're at 26. So that's something to keep in mind with the small coal power plant. Keep that in mind. I'm trying to save you money. And the funny part is we're not even making money yet. So we're 43 minutes into this video and we have not made a single penny. We've actually lost money. But anyways, what we're going to do next is we unlocked the specialized industry tool. So what you could see here on the screen in front of you, we have this industrial specialization. We have a couple different options here. We have a livestock farming. Livestock farming specialization can be set up anywhere to produce livestock. Okay, anywhere. Okay. And then the stone mining industry can be set up anywhere to produce stone. So I'm going based on what is said. We can plop these in our industrial area and we can have the stone and livestock farming. So let's do that. Remember, everything we build needs to help us gain experience to get to that next level. So what we'll do is we're gonna create this little pocket or this little 90-degree area. We're gonna create, I think, which industry should we go with? Technically, yeah, that's still an industry. Livestock, I would still go, like, that's a farming industry. So what we'll do is, I'm trying to figure out where this will fit the best. But I don't, we can place that right there, but I'm going to start off with the stone mining. Just for fun, just to see what it does. So again, it can be set up anywhere. So that's kind of cool though. An industry that can be literally set up anywhere. So we're going to place it. We're just trying to see where this light blue ring is going to go. You can see, wow, that is a big ring. So you can actually create a pretty big stone industry area. So let's try to place it right. Wow, that is a huge ring. Holy cow. It's almost the size of our industrial area. So what we'll do is, yeah, you can see, yeah, it's freaking huge. As I'm, I do voiceovers for my Cities Skylines videos. So that is huge. And you can see here, industrial gave us a thumbs down. So they did not like us create. Wow, that's actually really interesting. So just like for the landfill, you're going to see here that we have to create a zone for our rock grinding area. Yeah, rock grinding area does not roll off the tongue very nicely, but you can see here we are building, wow, we are expanding the district. And so we're not going to make it too huge, but we'll make it reasonably big just to see if we make a lot of money from it. If we lose a lot of money from it, how it looks, we really don't know. This is our first industry in Cities Skylines 2. So, all right, we're going to finish off that landfill. And you can see here, it filled. All right, it filled in. It's green. It's kind of acting a little funky because I'm not controlling the district. But, okay, so there it is. There is, wow, okay. Now, do we get money from it? We are a grind a rock company. Nice. We have 102% efficiency. There is air pollution, noise pollution, and ground pollution. Wow, that's no wonders why our industrial area hated that so much. Ouch. That is not good. But so far there's no buildings being built on it. I don't know. I'm just going off of what I see in front of me. Not much is going on, essentially. Now, what we want to do next is we want to actually get into the farming part we want to get to the livestock part. So let's build the livestock all the way up here. I think that's like the northern part. I definitely like that part of it for the livestock. So yeah, let's get started with that. Okay, so we have the livestock right there, and I don't necessarily want to build it there. Let's just add it into that corner and see how much of it we can actually fill in. So this could be bad traffic wise. I really don't know. We're just adding industry to Cities Skylines 2, and we'll have to see how well it does. So, okay, so just like the other industrial building. Now you can see here though that you cannot build outside that radius. I just tried, and look, it says distance too long, and it would not allow me. So this is kind of where it gets a little complicated. We're going to keep everything. Ooh, this is going to be an abnormal shape. Oh, wait. So how come, hold on, time out. When we built the livestock, it popped up other farms. Anyways, oh, this is nice. Okay, so I went to the districting tool, and you can adjust the shape of the district itself. Okay, that's really cool. I'm a fan of that. Big fan of that. But just somebody explain to me though why things are popping up for the livestock and not the gravel, like the stone rock work. I really don't know why, but I kind of do like how we can fill this in though. Look at how well our fields are filling in for the livestock. Ooh, we have some in the water, but that's okay. We'll end up living with it. That's okay, but that's cool. But like, look, there's farms in it, and then our grind of rock has like nothing in it. I don't know. As time goes on, I think we'll figure it out. But our livestock, look at, we are 100% efficient, level 1. So you can see it does level up also. Oh, very low noise pollution. So the grind of rock one, the stone one, is definitely way more high maintenance than the other one. So yeah, let's drag this down to, drag it all the way down to there. I'm a fan. I like this idea. Look at that. And then what we could do is just keep moving that over. That looks good. Look at that. We have another farm. Like, what the heck? This livestock farm is like growing like crazy. And meanwhile, our stone one is doing literally nothing. Maybe the stone one's too small. That could be that. that could be something. That could really be something. Okay. So now that we have that in place, we're going to speed up the game a little bit because I don't want to be here all day. If we were, we would definitely be here for a very long time. So you can see here, we are a couple thousand away from the Grand Village, where we definitely unlock a bunch of things: low rent housing, offices, and then, oh wow, finally public transportation, parks. Oh wow. This next milestone, actually, you unlock a lot. Holy cow. So we do have 3 dev points. And do you want to waste them right now? It's still debatable. It's still honestly very debatable. We have 1,429 residents. That's really not that much. Like the welfare office, like, are we big enough? Like, I just don't see it, to be honest with you. I don't see it. But anyways, so now that we're searching for that Grand Village, we have to keep building. So yeah, that's, you know, I just moved back to the rock quarry and there's nothing going on. And then you can see here the livestock is progressing. So we're going to have, we have a TBD to be announced if these industries actually work out really, really well. So like I mentioned to you earlier in the game, that you need to keep building or you're never going to move up. Yeah, I know that sounds weird. You're never going to, if you're not going to gain experience unless you actually, keep building. So I'm going to upgrade the firehouse, which that actually looks really cool. I'm a big fan of that. So let's just click on that real quick. So now that there you go. Click on it. We have 8 vehicles. So we have 8 firehouse vehicles. Okay. That's pretty cool. Now let's do the same thing with the police. The police have 6 right now, vehicles patrolling. Okay, 6 isn't really that much, but let's upgrade it and just see how many more we get. Oh, 12. Okay. Wow. Okay, then you have vehicles in maintenance? What the heck? Vehicles in maintenance. So our police cars need to get maintained? That's a little bit odd. Oh, Polaris Suite. So this is another signature building. Nice. Oh wow, that's awesome. And as you can see here, we are almost at our Grand Village. Okay, so let's go over this signature building, and we're gonna slow down the game because we don't, what's gonna happen is we're gonna plop down this building, the Polaris Suites, and you know for a fact that we're gonna hit that milestone and then be done for the day. So what I'll do is eventually I am gonna move those apartment buildings where the Polaris building is. And yep, there we go. Grand Village. Awesome. Yeah, we finally hit it. We got $1 million. We got 4 dev points and we got 6 tiles unlocked. So let's just real quick, let's just look at this Polaris building. +4 to well-being within 1 kilometer. Oh, that's a big one. And holds 180 people. Oh my God. Oh, I really like that building. Oh, wow. It holds 180 people and wow, that's really, really, really cool. So I'm really happy with that. All right, guys. So for the Grand Village, I am done for today. So this is how to start your Cities Skylines city in Cities Skylines 2. And as of right now, everything is going well. I should say we're not making money yet, but our population is almost at 2,000. For the next video, we can get into more industry, more transportation, and finally start to build parks and recreation. So I am very, very, very excited about our next video. So guys, if you have any questions or comment, please leave a comment below. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.